Worldwide interest in carbon emission reduction has increased at an exponential rate in recent years. According to the projection of energy use worldwide, global CO2 emissions are expected to increase by 55% between 2004 to 2030. Since Malaysia is one of the main oil-producing countries in the world, the CO2 that was generated from petroleum production has been identified as one of the contributors to the emission of CO2 in Malaysia. Up to June 2015, 257.69 million tons of CO2 has been emitted to Malaysian atmosphere, and this scenario is anticipated to continue well in the future if there are no mitigation taken to manage CO2 emission in Malaysia. Under this pressure, local researchers and academicians have come out with various suggestions on how to manage with CO2 emission, and geological carbon sequestration is suggested to be another possible way to deal with CO2 emission in Malaysia. There are several types of geological formation which can be considered for CO2 storage. Malaysia possesses a very unique geological formation such as enormous unoccupied sedimentary basins that are more extensive than oil and gas field. However, the issue now is how can we find a suitable site to inject and store CO2? So, this is where our M-CO2 map would come in handy, which it provides a visual interpretation of the potential area for CO2 storage in sedimentary basin of Malaysia in a map form. The aim of this research is to classify the potential site for long-term CO2 storage in sedimentary basin of Malaysia as an initiative to reduce the intensity of CO2 in the atmosphere of Malaysia. And to the best of our knowledge, there have been no comprehensive studies of the CO2 geological storage in deep saline aquifer of Malaysia. Therefore, the M-CO2 map was created, and in 2019, M-CO2 map has been successfully obtained its copyright, and there were several index publications that has been published regarding this map as well. The GIS approach was used for locating potential sites for CO2 storage in sedimentary basin of Malaysia. The M-CO2 map was produced by overlaying multiple layers consisting of different datasets to create a composite map that retained the geometry and the attribute of the input layers. The mapping of potential area in sedimentary basin of Malaysia for CO2 storage is carried out by overlaying several layers that each represent one characteristic in the form of spatial data. The classification of the potential area are divided into four categories, which is highly potential, average potential, low potential, and no potential area. In terms of economic perspective, M-CO2 map is considered as a good investment as the market of geological CO2 storage in Malaysia is huge. This map is valuable for oil and gas industries as it is very accommodating to locate the injection zone. Consequently, early budgeting can be done and the project efficiency will increase. Meanwhile, politically speaking, this M-CO2 map serves as a good point of reference for policymakers and legislators to emulate legislation relating to CO2 emission in Malaysia. M-CO2 map provides preliminary insight into basin-scale site suitability evaluation and screening for early deployment of geological carbon storage technology in unoccupied basin in Malaysia, and we hope it will also be useful as a cornerstone for future researchers to study on CO2 geological storage in Malaysia.